Hello there. Well, this is Kit from the Tualatin Public Library, and I was thinking about taking a drive in my sweet ride here. Unfortunately, they won't let you race out there. Apparently, it's illegal. And so I was wondering if you'd like to come and build a car with me. We're going to make it out of popsicle sticks, cardboard, and a rubber band. Should be a lot of fun to race our own little cars. Let's get started. All right, to start this project, you're going to need some cardboard. I just pulled this out of the recycling, honestly. I think it's a yogurt container. A cup of some side or something round so you can draw the templates for your wheels. Mine happens to be 3.5 inches in diameter, but use whatever you have on hand. Then we're going to need a dowel or a skewer. I had a skewer on hand. I did not have a dowel. They're a little thinner, so they're a little flimsier, but it'll work. You're going to cut those into smaller pieces. Then you need a straw and then 2 jumbo craft sticks. Again, you can use regular craft sticks, but that's what I use as jumbo. A couple of rubber bands, a craft knife, some scissors, and a really grody hot glue gun because hot glue and cats are gross. So the first thing we're going to do is take our cup and draw around it in order to make our templates for our 4 wheels. Just do that really quickly. I'm not going to show you me cutting them out because that would take too long, but you use the craft knife to cut them out. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels. We're good to go. We're going to measure out our skewer. I did pieces of 4 inches. This is going to be your axle. So that's what I did, the length for mine. And then I scored it and then just broke it. That was the easiest way for me. If you have a saw, that's probably a handsaw would be great. Now that you have your 2 axles, you're also going to need 2 shorter pieces, say about 1/2 inch long. It doesn't have to be exact. This is what the rubber band's going to catch on in terms of winding it up. So we'll just need those 2 pieces, and then we can set those aside for right now as we assemble the base part of our car. Now to do that, we're going to have to insert the skewers into the wheel, but I needed to find the center, and I'm not really good at that, so instead I just cut out a piece of paper the same size, folded it in half again, and that gives me the center, laid it across there. And then you take the craft knife and you just do a little drilling motion to mark the holes. I did not widen the holes at this point. I didn't want to get them too wide. One last step before we assemble the axles and wheels is we have to cut straws. They're going to be 2 per axle. We want to leave the center part of the axles open because that's where we're going to glue on the pieces that catch on the rubber band. I cut mine too big here. I would suggest 1 inch or smaller. Woo, let them go flying and take a minute to go grab all of the straw pieces. All right, now we're back. Okay, so now that we have our straw pieces, we're going to take our pencil and we're going to make the holes just a little bit wider. Try not to get them too wide, otherwise it's going to help to affect the stability later. And you can insert in there, and what we're going to do is just glue around the top and try to stabilize it as straight as you can. It's a little forgiving, so don't worry if it's a little crooked, but try to get it as straight as you can. And we're not going to wait around for it to dry. Once it dried, we turned around and glued around in the inside too, just to give it a little extra stability. And like magic, there's the second one done. And then we thread our straw pieces onto that axle, just 2 there. And then the next step will be to fit the other wheel on the other side of that axle. I recommend gluing a little bit on top and in the hole. That makes it easier because since you can't really glue around the inside of this one, and it kind of pushes the glue down on that side, and then glue through the top and just wait for it to dry again. Once you have both of your wheels and axles set, then we're going to put in those little catch pieces that the rubber band is going to catch on. And we're going to put it in the middle in between the straws. As you can see, I got the straws a little big, so I didn't have a lot of room to work with because you have to glue in there, making sure not to glue the straw to the axle. And then glue over and under, and you'll do that on both sides. Once that's done, then you're going to put a little glue on each of those straws on one side, and then fit a craft stick on top of that. That allows it to be free wheeling using the straws around those axles. And we'll do that on both sides. All right, and now that we've got that accomplished, we're going to put our rubber bands together. It's either about the same length as the craft sticks, so try to keep that in mind when choosing them. Then you're going to wrap around that first axle just by threading it through itself. So it'll permanently be on that part of the structure. And then when you go to wind it, that's how you do it. All right, but let's do a little bit more just to make it a little more feasible for it to race, because it has a tendency to spin out if you don't have a little weight on the back. This is where you can use bolts and nuts. In my case, I didn't have those, so I just used 4 pennies on the back to give it a little weight so that when it takes off, it doesn't spin out. And then the last step is to put a little glue around the edges of the wheel to give it some more friction. But now I present to you unicorn number 2.0. Well, that's it. We got our own cars to race around. That's going to be so much fun. But meanwhile, I have a drive to do on my own. So this is Kit for the Tualatin Public Library, signing off for today.